Hi guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be going through the top 5 best picks of the first round and the top 5 worst picks of the first round in the NFL draft. I'm going to be taking into account the player and when or where he was picked. Just because a top 5 player was taken top 8 doesn't mean that he deserves as good of a grade as a top 15 to 20 player going at pick 30. Make sure to like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Now let's dive into it. First and foremost, I'm not going to include any of the first 3 picks in my list. I think that all of these picks were easy A's and I don't see the point in grading them and including them on the list. Now let's move on to the 5th worst pick of the draft. At this pick, I have the Atlanta Falcons selecting AJ Terrell, the corner from Clemson University. I don't hate the player, but he is ranked 41st on my draft board though. There were plenty of better options than AJ Terrell. AJ Terrell is a good, well-rounded press corner that I just don't think is worth the 16th pick in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a very successful career in the NFL though, but personally, I would take Kristian Fulton, who are ranked number 23, if I'm going to take a corner. Maybe they wanted a press corner, but personally, I think there were other options on the board that would have been better. Personally, I have higher grades on both Trevon Diggs and Jalen Johnson, who I believe are both borderline first-round prospects. I honestly would have saved a corner for the second round, where looking back, we know a lot of them fell to, and select K'Lavon Chaisson or someone else. All in all, I don't hate the player, just the spot he was taken. So that's why I give this pick a C. For the 5th best pick in the draft, I think that CeeDee Lamb at pick 17 is the spot. If I just evaluate the player and then the pick that he fell to, this would be an easy A+ selection, probably be the best pick in the draft. But I'm not sure that the Cowboys picked a player that necessarily made them much better. Because now the Cowboys don't have a slot receiver and have 3 boundary receivers in Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb. So I'm not sure if I like the fit. I would probably have gone corner or safety, but looking back on it, we know that this draft worked out well and they got a great corner in the second. But as much as I dislike the fit, I have to admit, getting my number 2 receiver and my number 7 prospect with the 17th pick is insane. Don't get me wrong, I love CeeDee Lamb, but simply because of the fit, I have to give this pick an A. For the 4th worst pick in the first round, I'm going to have to choose the Noah Igbinoghene selection by the Dolphins. Noah Igbinoghene isn't a bad player. He's my 8th corner and ranked 52nd in the class. He is also a good fit as a slot man corner in their system. But the way I see it, they missed out on a top 20 player in Xavier McKinney or other top players that would have fit their scheme perfectly in Grant Delpit, AJ Epineza, or maybe even more offensive line to protect your new franchise quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. Also, if you're going to go corner, once again, go with Kristian Fulton, Trevon Diggs, Jalen Johnson, or even Jeff Gladney. All of them are better options. Plus, they don't even need corner. They already have Xavier Howard and Eric Rowe. And then they literally just went out and signed Pro Bowl corner Byron Jones. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. So that's why I'm giving this pick a C. For the 4th best pick in the first round, I had to go with the Buccaneers selecting offensive tackle from Iowa, Tristan Wirfs. I absolutely love this pick because if you're the Buccaneers, your defense is already really damn good. And with the addition of Tom Brady, your offense gets even better. But with Tom Brady coming to Tampa, I think they had to invest in offensive line. The Buccaneers O-line was nowhere near the strength of the Patriots. And if they didn't make it a focus in the draft, then his stay in Tampa might not be as good as expected. But personally, I love Tristan Wirfs. He's my 2nd tackle in the class, and I really like him. He's my 9th player on my draft board, and with his athleticism, I would be very surprised if he didn't pan out in the NFL. I give this pick an easy A. For my 3rd worst pick in the first round, I have a bit of a controversial one. I have Jalen Reagor, the wide receiver from TCU, who was drafted to the Eagles at pick 21. I think this is an absolutely horrible pick. First of all, why would you pick him over Justin Jefferson, who is a top 20 player in the class, and in my opinion, the last true first-round wide receiver? Plus, he would fit nicely at Philadelphia. They have Alshon Jeffrey for their big body receiver, with Deshaun Jackson as their speedster, and then Justin Jefferson as their reliable slot receiver. But no, they decided to go with the speedster from TCU, who really even isn't a speedster. He went a 4.47 at the combine, which I understand is bad for him. He clearly gained weight for no reason before the combine, and under normal circumstances probably would have ran close to a 4.35. But there's another element. He's a low character player. He released a sketchy pro day video where he supposedly ran a 4.22. Even though if you watch the video, the guy clocking him clearly starts it after Reagor starts going. Plus, it's hand time. I understand that I'm really low on Jalen Reagor and that he could easily succeed, but the fact that they would take my 79th player on the board over Justin Jefferson, who is the 16th player on my board, is just insane to me. I'm tempted to give this pick a lower grade, but Jalen Reagor does have some potential, so I'll give it a D. At number 3, I have a phenomenal pick by the Ravens. I have the Ravens selecting Patrick Queen at number 28. This pick really makes Baltimore's defense scary. They were a linebacker away from the top 3 defense in the league last year. Patrick Queen's range and coverage ability makes the Ravens possibly the best secondary/coverage unit in the NFL. I love this pick. On my board, Patrick Queen is a top 20 player in the class and my number 2 linebacker. The Ravens are becoming an even more overpowered team, and after the draft, barring any regression from Lamar Jackson, are probably my favorite to win the Super Bowl. This is an easy A+ pick. The second worst pick of the first round was also incredibly easy for me. It was the selection of Damon Arnette by the Las Vegas Raiders. Once again, the Raiders reached on a high floor prospect. Like what? They took my 10th corner, my 76th prospect with the 19th pick in the draft. Sounds about right. Do I even have to go into this pick? Arnette is a decent cornerback prospect, but imagine taking him over Christian Fulton, Trevon Diggs, Jeff Gladney, or Jalen Johnson. Just take someone else or trade down. Damon Arnette will easily be available in the 3rd round. But no, they thought it would be a good idea to take a 3rd round prospect. Whatever, easy D- grade, just because he had a high floor. Tempted to give it an F though. At the second best pick of the first round, I have the Cleveland Browns selecting Jedrick Wills Jr., the offensive tackle out of Alabama. I love this selection so much. He's my best offensive tackle in the class, and the Browns were able to snag him at pick 10. The Browns needed tackle help. You look at how good Baker Mayfield's rookie season went, he had a great offensive line then. Then you look at Baker Mayfield's sophomore season, he struggled because of a very poor offensive line. The Browns needed to beef up their O-line, and they did that fantastically with Jedrick Wills. This is an easy A+ grade. I'm pretty sure you all expected this pick. The Seattle Seahawks selecting Jordyn Brooks, the linebacker out of Texas Tech, is by far the worst pick of this first round. Once again, the Seattle Seahawks just do what they want to do. They see a player they like, no matter where they are projected to go, and reach hard on them, putting the player into an impossible situation with loads of pressure to perform. I don't hate the player. He has a ton of potential as a run-stuffing linebacker, but you don't take a linebacker that all they can do to stop the run ahead of Patrick dang Queen. Patrick Queen. You take my 110th player in the class ahead of a top 20 prospect. What are they doing? They could have gone edge, corner, or offensive line. But what do? They draft a 3rd or 4th round prospect to become Bobby Wagner's successor. Great pick, Seattle. I'll give it a D- only because Brooks has some potential. With the best pick of the first round, I have to give it to Jeudy, the wide receiver from Alabama. This was an easy selection. The Broncos got a top 5 player in the class, my number 1 receiver at pick 15. They fill a gaping need with one of the most elite separators and route runners in all of college football. Drew Lock has no excuses if he can't pull it together. He has so many weapons now with Cortland Sutton, Jeudy, and then later in the 2nd round, they snagged the speedster KJ Hamler. This is a fantastic draft by the Broncos. Easy A+ grade. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And until next time.